Everything in your life is a reflection of your focus. If your mind drifts, if your attention scatters, if your discipline falters, so does your world. But there is a way to seize control, to train your mind like a warrior and dominate every task, every challenge, every distraction. Today, you will learn the exact systems, the daily rituals, and the unshakable mindset that transforms ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Stop reacting. Start commanding. This is the warrior mindset. Chapter 1. Take command of your attention. Your attention is the only thing you own completely. Everything else can be taken from you. Time can be stolen. Energy can be drained. Resources can be lost. But your attention, the capacity to notice, to process, to act, is yours. It is yours to control. No one else can give it. No one else can manage it. That is the starting point. Most people fail because they give it away. They scatter it. They surrender it to notifications, noise, other people's agendas, and habit-driven impulses. Every wasted second compounds. Every moment spent distracted becomes a debt. That debt grows until it controls you. You have a choice. Take control or surrender it. That's the key. Let me be clear. This is not about motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation is a spark that dies under the first gust of resistance. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. You need systems that ensure your attention goes where you intend it to go. It's not about willpower. It's about design. Rule 1. Attention is a resource. Treat it as such. Every decision about where to place it must be deliberate. Every second spent on a task, on a thought, or on a distraction is an investment. You don't get to spend it without evaluating the return. Ask yourself, what will this attention generate? What value does this moment create? If the answer is unclear, the choice is simple. Redirect. That's the rule. Observe those who succeed consistently. Top athletes, CEOs, scientists, masters of craft. What do they have in common? Not more talent, not more energy. They control their attention. They construct micro habits that protect it. They schedule it. They defend it. Every meeting, every email, every task has a boundary. Every distraction is evaluated. Control your focus. Control your life every single day. Repeat it until it becomes obvious. Repeat it until it becomes natural. Repeat it until it is non-negotiable. Rule 2. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. Radical change fails because it ignores the system. You cannot overhaul your attention in a single moment. You cannot force perfection. You can, however, adjust the structure of your daily behaviors. You can design habits that place your focus exactly where it belongs. Every morning, every hour, every task is a chance to repeat excellence. Every repetition strengthens control. Every repetition weakens distraction. That's the system. That's the rule. That's the discipline. Let us break it into practical steps. First, audit your attention. For one full day, observe where it goes. Do not justify. Do not excuse. Record it. Count the interruptions. Count the idle moments. Count the wasted attention. That audit is not for reflection. It is for design. Design comes from clarity. Clarity comes from observation. Control starts here. Second, create boundaries. Boundaries are non-negotiable rules. Decide when and where certain types of attention are allowed. Emails are checked at fixed times. Social media is accessed in controlled windows. Meetings have agendas. Conversations have purpose. Each boundary is a protective wall. Your attention flows where it is intended. You have a choice. Choose boundaries. Protect them. Repeat them. That's the key. Third, schedule deliberate focus blocks. Not vague intentions. Not general goals. Actual blocks of time dedicated to a single task, free from interruption. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours if necessary. During this time, your attention is sacred. Notifications off, door closed, phone silent. Your mind is a laser. A laser does not scatter light. It does not drift. It penetrates. That is the model. That is the standard. Every day, every block, every session, repeat it. Repeat it until focus is reflexive. Repeat it until distraction is unnatural. Let me give you an example. Consider a CEO managing multiple companies. Do they feel motivated every morning to make decisions? No. They have systems. They have attention blocks. Every email, every meeting, every task is scheduled for when they're ready, when their mind is capable of deep engagement. They do not chase motivation. They chase structure. Structure enforces attention. Structure enforces excellence. That's how control is maintained. That's how results compound. Rule 3. Your environment dictates your focus. Remove distractions before they appear. Design your workspace. Remove unnecessary items. Silence notifications. Position yourself so that attention flows naturally toward what matters. If your environment is chaotic, your mind will be chaotic. You have a choice. Design for clarity. Design for control. Repeat the design until it is automatic. Repeat until distraction becomes effortful. That is the principle. That is the system. Fourth, train your mind through incremental practice. Focus is not innate. It is exercised. Begin with manageable intervals. 15 minutes of single-task work. Extend as your control strengthens. Track progress. Every uninterrupted session builds the mental muscle. Every session without wandering thought strengthens discipline. You don't need their permission. You don't need approval. You need repetition. That's the key. Fifth, review daily. At the end of the day, assess where attention was wasted. Identify lapses. Adjust the system. Make the next day slightly stronger than the last. This is iterative improvement. Every cycle compounds. Every adjustment reinforces control. That is the methodology. That is the philosophy. That is the practice of a warrior mind. A warning: distraction will fight back. Noise is constant. Temptation is endless. The human mind seeks comfort, novelty, and escape. That is natural. That is expected. That is why you must be intentional. You have a choice. You do not have to surrender. You do not have to drift. You do not need to give away your most valuable asset. Attention can be defended. Attention can be sharpened. Attention can be directed toward results, mastery, and excellence. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Control your focus, control your life every single day. Do not misunderstand. Control does not mean obsession. Control does not mean rigidity. Control means clarity. Control means precision. Control means creating the conditions where focus flows naturally. Control means eliminating waste, defending your attention, and repeating productive behaviors until they dominate your life. That is the rule. That is the method. That is the discipline. You have a choice. Choose structure over chaos. Choose repetition over intensity. Choose system over willpower. Every micro habit, every block of time, every environmental adjustment is a lever to reclaim your attention. Apply these rules consistently. No shortcuts. No excuses. No exceptions. That is the code. That is the standard. That is the expectation. Chapter 1 ends here. The principles of attention form the foundation for all other skills. Without mastery of focus, everything else falters. The next step is to harness silence as a tool. Silence is not absence. Silence is presence. Silence trains the mind to resist distraction, to sit with itself, to notice the unimportant before it steals your energy. In Chapter 2, We will establish structured practices of silence that amplify every principle introduced here. Chapter 2. Silence is strength. Silence is not absence. Silence is presence. It is the most underestimated tool in the development of a disciplined mind. Most people avoid it. They fill every moment with noise. Phones, conversations, music, notifications, social media, thoughts left unchecked. Noise is convenient. Noise is comfortable. But noise is also weakness. Noise scatters attention. Noise weakens clarity. Noise erodes discipline. That ends now. You have a choice. You can surrender your mind to constant input, or you can reclaim it. That's the key. Intentional silence is deliberate. It is a practice. It is not waiting for a quiet moment. It is creating one. Silence is not passive. It is active control. Silence trains the mind. Silence builds the warrior. Repeat it. Repeat it until it becomes obvious. Repeat it until it is automatic. Repeat it until noise no longer dominates. Rule 1. Schedule silence. Do not wait for it to happen naturally. You must design it. Start with 20 minutes. Extend to 30. No devices. No distractions. No tasks. Sit. Stand. Walk. It does not matter. What matters is the absence of external noise and the presence of focus. That is the training. That is the system. That is the discipline. Every day, repeat. Rule 2. Observe, don't escape. Silence exposes your mind. Thoughts rise. Emotions surface. Impulses emerge. Do not run from them. Do not suppress them. Notice. Label them. Let them pass. You are not lost in thought. You are learning to manage thought. You have a choice. You can react to every impulse, or you can observe and return to focus. Observation is control. Control is strength. Strength is attention refined. Consider the masters. Think of a top chess player, a surgeon, a musician. They do not create under constant distraction. They create in focused stillness. Their silence is not empty. It is fertile. It sharpens awareness. It allows subtle patterns to emerge. It allows strategy to form. It allows clarity to dominate chaos. This is not theory. This is practice. You must practice it. Rule 3. Silence is a reset button. The human mind accumulates input like a sponge absorbs water. Constant stimulation leads to fatigue. Decisions degrade. Judgment blurs. Impulse overrides intention. Silence restores. Silence resets. Daily silence sessions allow mental recovery. They increase clarity. They reinforce focus. You do not need permission to reclaim this time. You do not need validation. You do not need external approval. You have a choice. Take it. Repeat it. Every day. That's the key. Rule 4. Silence reinforces discipline. Discipline is built in moments of resistance. Sitting in silence is resistance. Resisting the urge to check your phone. Resisting the urge to fill empty time. Resisting the pull of distraction. Every session strengthens control. Every session trains the mental muscle. Every session builds resilience. Silence trains the mind. Silence builds the warrior. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Practical steps. Begin by choosing a time each day that will remain sacred. Morning is ideal. The mind is less burdened. Interruptions are fewer. If morning is impossible, select a consistent period in the day. Close the door. Silence notifications. Remove external interruptions. Sit comfortably. Focus on breathing. Do not judge your thoughts. Let them flow. Observe. Let them pass. Return attention to breathing. Observe. Return. Repeat. 20 minutes. 25. 30. Each increment reinforces control. Each session compounds clarity. That is the system. That is the process. That is the rule. Silence is not about emptying the mind completely. That is impossible. The mind is active. The mind generates thought. The mind seeks input. Silence is about observation. Silence is about noticing without reaction. Silence is about building control. Silence is about strengthening the capacity to choose focus. Every time you sit, you practice. Every time you practice, you strengthen. Every time you strengthen, you gain control. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That's the key. Let us consider a real-world application. A CEO with constant demands uses 30 minutes of morning silence to plan. No calls, no emails, no interruptions, only observation, only assessment, only mental alignment. Decisions are clearer. Strategy is sharper. Focus is unbroken. The day becomes controlled rather than reactive. Noise is no longer in charge. Silence is now the tool. Silence trains the mind. Silence builds the warrior. Rule 5. Extend silence beyond sessions. Structured silence is a start. The next step is incremental application. Walk. Listen to the environment. Observe without reacting. Pause before responding. Avoid reflexive behavior. Respond with clarity. Extend the principles of silent observation into action. Do not confuse action with noise. Action must be deliberate. Attention must be deliberate. Observation must precede execution. You have a choice. Choose deliberate action. Choose focus. Repeat it daily. That's the rule. That's the discipline. That's the method. Silence also exposes hidden weaknesses. Anxiety, distraction, mental fatigue, untrained impulses. These appear in stillness. Do not ignore them. Do not avoid them. Name them. Analyze them. Adjust your system. Correct the flaws. Strengthen the weak points. That is how the mind becomes resilient. That is how attention becomes precise. That is how the warrior mind is forged. Repeat. Observe. Adjust. Repeat. You will be challenged. Friends will talk. Noise will appear. Devices will demand attention. Thoughts will distract. That is expected. You have a choice. Accept the challenge. Maintain the silence. Protect the session. Repeat it. Every day. Every session strengthens control. Every session strengthens focus. Every session strengthens discipline. Silence trains the mind. Silence builds the warrior. Repeat it until it is natural. Repeat it until it is automatic. Repeat it until it becomes your baseline. Conclusion. Silence is not a luxury. Silence is a weapon. Silence is a system. Schedule it. Observe without reaction. Reset daily. Build discipline. Extend practice into action. Protect your mental space. That is your duty. That is your rule. That is your method. In the next chapter, we move from silence to systems. Silence sharpens. Systems enforce. Systems are the framework that convert focused attention into consistent results. You have the foundation of clarity. You have the tools of observation. Now, you will learn how to structure your environment and routines to make focus unavoidable. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is your path. Chapter 3. Systems over willpower. Willpower is finite. It is limited. It is unreliable. Every person has it. Every person depletes it. Every decision you make drains it. Most people attempt to rely on willpower to get results. They fail. That is not weakness. That is biology. Willpower alone cannot sustain focus, control, or discipline. It is not the solution. It is the obstacle if relied upon. You do not need to depend on willpower. You need systems. Systems enforce behavior. Systems automate action. Systems remove the need for constant choice. Systems ensure that focus happens. Every single day, systems win, motivation fails, habits rule. Repeat it. Repeat it until it is clear. Repeat it until it is obvious. Repeat it until it becomes non-negotiable. Rule 1. Identify the critical behaviors. You cannot systematize everything. You must identify what matters most. What actions produce results? What behaviors compound over time? Top performers do this every day. Navy SEALs start their mornings with exact routines. Physical training, cold exposure, planning. Elon Musk structures time in strict blocks, assigning each task a defined period, leaving no room for drift. These are not accidents. These are systems. You have a choice. Define your critical behaviors. Systematize them. Repeat them. That is the foundation. That is the rule. Rule 2. Structure your environment to reinforce systems. Systems fail when the environment undermines them. Your desk, your home, your phone, digital tools, all either support or sabotage your behaviors. Remove temptation. Reduce friction for productive habits. Increase friction for unproductive ones. If your goal is to write, place the tools where writing is easy and distractions are distant. If your goal is to exercise, leave equipment ready. Systems are not abstract ideas. They are environmental designs that enforce action. You have a choice. Design. Adjust. Repeat. That is the key. Rule 3. Automate decisions. Every choice consumes attention. Every choice depletes willpower. Eliminate unnecessary decisions. Meal prep. Clothing selection. Meeting schedules. Task order. Do not leave these to chance. Pre-decide. Pre-plan. Automate. The mind is freed to focus on what matters. Systems win, motivation fails, habits rule. Repeat it. Every decision automated is energy saved. Every energy saved is focus preserved. Every preserved focus is power gained. Rule 4. Build micro habits into your routine. Big changes fail. Radical shifts fail. Attempting to overhaul life overnight is a mistake. Systems succeed through repetition. Start small. 15 minutes of reading. 10 minutes of reflection. 5 minutes of planning. Repeat daily. Build. Expand. Compound. Micro habits are the foundation of macro results. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You need repetition. You need systems. That is how results are secured. That is the principle. That is the rule. Observe top performers. Elon Musk schedules tasks in 5-minute blocks. Navy SEALs repeat daily drills until execution is automatic. There is no debate. There is no exception. They create routines that remove the burden of choice. Focus becomes automatic. Performance becomes inevitable. That is the standard. That is the benchmark. That is what you must adopt. Rule 5. Establish triggers and anchors. Every system requires a starting point. A trigger, an anchor. Morning coffee signals planning. Closing the laptop signals transition to focus mode. Exercise, shoes, signal training. These triggers automate the mental shift required to execute. You have a choice. Set anchors. Reinforce them consistently. Repeat them. Every day, every week, every month. That is how systems persist. That is how habits dominate. Rule 6. Protect your systems ruthlessly. Systems are fragile until repeated. Distractions, interruptions, and excuses erode them. Guard them. Guard your morning ritual. Guard your focus blocks. Guard your micro habits. You do not negotiate with weakness. You do not compromise for convenience. You have a choice. Protect the systems. Enforce them. Repeat them. Systems win, motivation fails, habits rule. That is the law. That is the code. That is the discipline. Rule 7. Measure and adjust. A system is only effective if it produces the intended result. Track progress. Record adherence. Evaluate outcomes. Adjust the sequence, timing, or intensity if results lag. Systems are living structures. They require maintenance. You have a choice. Observe, adjust, repeat. Every adjustment strengthens control. Every repetition strengthens focus. Every improvement compounds into mastery. That is the philosophy. That is the method. That is the process of disciplined action. Understand this. Systems do not remove effort. They concentrate it. They direct it. They make it efficient. A morning ritual does not make you weak. It forces effort into the most productive channel. Time blocking does not make you rigid. It amplifies control. Micro habits do not make you small. They compound into power. Systems win, motivation fails, habits rule. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. That is the principle. That is the discipline. That is the standard. The human mind naturally seeks shortcuts, comfort, and novelty. Willpower alone will fail against these impulses. Motivation is inconsistent. Inspiration fades, but systems enforce. Systems do not care about mood. Systems do not care about feelings. Systems produce action. Systems produce results. You have a choice. Adopt them, build them, protect them, repeat them. Every day, every session, every decision. That is how mastery is achieved. That is how focus is preserved. That is how attention is controlled. Now, practical steps. Identify one critical habit. Map it into a system. Assign a trigger. Create a time block. Protect the environment. Automate choices. Track adherence. Repeat daily. Expand to the next habit. Build iteratively. Build relentlessly. Build until control is automatic. That is the process. That is the framework. That is the discipline. Discipline does not rely on feeling motivated. Discipline does not negotiate with distraction. Discipline follows systems. Discipline follows structure. Discipline follows repetition. Systems win, motivation fails, habits rule. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. That is the mantra. That is the foundation. That is the expectation. Conclusion. You now understand that willpower is a temporary tool. Systems are permanent architecture. Motivation may spark action for a moment. Habits and systems enforce action consistently. Your next step is to combine this architecture with deep, deliberate focus. Systems set the stage. Attention executes. Without systems, focus is fragile. With systems, focus is unstoppable. Chapter 4 will explore eliminating distractions and designing an environment that enforces your will. You have the foundation. You have the rules. You have the structure. Now you learn how to defend it. Chapter 4. Eliminate the distraction trap. Distraction is the enemy of discipline. It is subtle. It is persistent. It does not announce itself. It arrives as a ping, a notification, a thought, a habit. Most people surrender to it without realizing it. Every distraction steals attention. Every stolen moment compounds. That attention cannot be reclaimed. You have a choice. You can defend it, or you can give it away. That is the difference between control and chaos. Distractions are thieves. Defend your mind. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Modern life is engineered to hijack focus. Devices, apps, social media, emails, alerts, constant messages. They are designed to capture attention. They are optimized for distraction. They exploit your habits. They exploit your biology. They exploit your impulses. You are not weak. You are human. That is expected. That is why intentional defense is necessary. You have a choice. Recognize it. Remove it. Protect your attention. That's the key. Rule 1. Identify your triggers. Before you can eliminate distractions, you must recognize what triggers them. Is it the phone on your desk? Email notifications? Background noise? Random thoughts? External interruptions? Internal impulses? Observe without judgment. Record them. Map patterns. Only then can you control them. You have a choice. Identification precedes defense. That is the principle. That is the rule. Rule 2. Remove triggers immediately. Do not negotiate with distraction. Remove it. Turn off notifications. Close unnecessary tabs. Silence apps. Move devices out of reach. Control your environment. Make focus easier than distraction. Make distraction effortful. Every moment you remove a trigger is a moment your mind remains sharp. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Distractions are thieves. Defend your mind. That is the system. That is the discipline. Rule 3. Batch tasks and set boundaries. Distraction often appears as fragmented attention. A single task is interrupted repeatedly. To counter this, batch similar tasks together. Emails at fixed times. Meetings in blocks. Administrative work in a set period. Do not respond immediately. Do not react reflexively. Protect your focus blocks. Treat them as sacred. Every batch reduces the cost of switching attention. Every boundary reinforces control. Repeat it daily. Repeat it until it is automatic. That is how systems enforce attention. Rule 4. Schedule sacred focus blocks. Designate uninterrupted periods for deep work. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. No phone, no social media, no interruptions. Inform others if necessary. Protect these periods ruthlessly. Treat them as non-negotiable. During focus blocks, your attention is sacred. Nothing can intrude. Your mind is free to engage fully. Distractions are thieves. Defend your mind. Repeat it. Every session strengthens discipline. Every session strengthens clarity. Every session strengthens results. That is the key. Rule 5. Control your mind before you control your environment. Physical adjustments alone are not sufficient. You must train the mind to resist internal distractions. Thoughts arise. Temptations appear. Urges to check devices surface. Observe them without reacting. Label them. Return focus to the task. This is mental conditioning. It is practice. The external environment supports it. The internal environment enforces it. You have a choice. Control the mind or surrender the mind. Repeat it. Distractions are thieves. Defend your mind. Consider an example. A writer sits to complete a manuscript. Notifications are off. Tabs closed. Phone out of reach. Calendar blocked. The first 5 minutes, thoughts wander. The urge to check messages appears. The mind resists. The writer observes, breathes, returns to focus. By the 10th minute, attention is anchored. Writing progresses. By the hour, productivity compounds. This is how systems, silence, and focus blocks work together. This is how attention becomes unstoppable. This is how the warrior mind is forged. Rule 6. Standardize your day to minimize decision fatigue. Every decision invites distraction. Every choice opens the door for deviation. Standardize routines. Predictable sequences reduce cognitive load. Morning rituals, work blocks, breaks, meals, sleep. Each standardized action removes unnecessary decision points. Energy is preserved for meaningful focus. Energy is preserved for deliberate execution. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You need structure. You need repetition. That is the discipline. That is the method. Rule 7. Review daily. Adjust immediately. Every evening, examine the day. Where did attention wander? What triggered distraction? Identify lapses without judgment. Adjust the next day. Move triggers out. Extend focus blocks. Reaffirm boundaries. Incremental improvement compounds into mastery. Repetition enforces control. Distractions are thieves. Defend your mind. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Distraction is not your friend. It is persistent. It is patient. It exploits the smallest lapse. Most people surrender without realizing it. You will be challenged. Devices will demand attention. Thoughts will tempt. Urges will arise. That is expected. That is normal. That is why discipline and systems are required. You have a choice. You can react, or you can control. You can surrender, or you can defend. That is the distinction between chaos and mastery. Practical application. Begin with a single day. Identify triggers. Remove them. Schedule one sacred focus block. During that block, commit fully. Observe your internal resistance. Return to focus. Track results. Repeat the next day. Extend the block. Extend the practice. Incrementally, your mind learns to resist distractions. Incrementally, your attention strengthens. Incrementally, your life aligns with your priorities. That is the system. That is the rule. That is the discipline. Distractions are not minor annoyances, they are thefts. They steal your time. They steal your energy. They steal your capacity to execute. They steal your results. Protect your mind, guard your attention. Structure your day. Remove triggers. Batch tasks. Set sacred focus blocks. Control your mind. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Distractions are thieves. Defend your mind. That's the key. That is the principle. That is the standard. Conclusion. You now understand that distraction is inevitable, but surrender is optional. Recognition, removal, and structured focus blocks transform your attention from vulnerable to invincible. You have the foundation of clarity from Chapter 1. You have the sharpening tool of silence from Chapter 2. You have the architecture of systems from Chapter 3 now. You defend at Chapter 5. We'll show how small daily actions compound into mental discipline and results. You have the choice. Repeat it. Defend it. Master it. Chapter 5. Small daily actions compound. Discipline is built, not declared. Success is earned, not wished for. Most people fail because they look for dramatic changes. They chase intensity. They wait for a perfect moment. That is a mistake. Life is not transformed in bursts. Transformation is built through repetition. Tiny actions, consistent effort. Every day, you have a choice. You can wait for the extraordinary, or you can commit to the ordinary, repeated relentlessly. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Rule 1. Commit to incremental action. Do not attempt to overhaul everything at once. That leads to burnout. That leads to abandonment. Focus on the smallest unit of action that moves the needle. 15 minutes of deliberate practice. 10 minutes of reflection. 5 minutes of planning. Small, precise, repeatable. That is the foundation. That is the discipline. That is the system. Every repetition compounds. Every repetition strengthens. Every repetition builds control. You have a choice. Commit or drift. That is the key. Rule 2. Make it non-negotiable. A small action only has power if it is repeated. Set it in your schedule. Anchor it to an existing habit. Morning coffee. Pre-lunch break. Evening reflection. Protect the time. Do not negotiate. Do not rationalize. Do not skip. Repetition is the mechanism that transforms action into habit. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. Repeat it. Every day. Without exception. That is how mental discipline is forged. Rule 3. Track progress relentlessly. Measurement reinforces behavior. Record your actions daily. A simple checklist works. Did you execute your 15 minutes? Did you follow through? Did you maintain focus? Every mark is proof of control. Every missed mark is insight. Adjust the system. Correct the lapse. Continue the repetition. Small actions compound. Progress compounds. Discipline compounds. You have a choice. Track it. Repeat it. Strengthen it. That is the principle. That is the rule. Consider an example. A musician practices for 15 minutes daily. Another practices sporadically for 2 hours once a week. The first builds consistent neural patterns. Muscle memory solidifies. Focus strengthens. Skill accumulates. The second burns bright and fades. Inconsistent effort produces uneven results. The first wins. The first dominates. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. That is the principle. That is the discipline. That is the system. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 4. Focus on systems, not results. Do not become distracted by immediate outcomes. The goal is not instant transformation. The goal is consistent execution. Systems enforce action. Systems compound results. 15 minutes daily produces mastery over time. Sporadic effort produces inconsistency. Focus on the habit. Focus on the action. Focus on the repetition. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. You don't need their permission. You don't need motivation. You need repetition. That is the key. That is the discipline. Rule 5. Layer actions into a routine. Small actions are more powerful when sequenced. Pair them with existing routines. Anchor reflection after exercise. Anchor reading after breakfast. Anchor planning before bed. Each anchor reinforces the next. Each anchor strengthens the pattern. The mind begins to anticipate action. Execution becomes automatic. Repetition compounds. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is how mastery is structured. That is how control is enforced. That is how discipline grows. Rule 6. Reinforce mental focus during every action. Tiny actions are useless if performed mindlessly. Attention must accompany execution. Observe the process. Notice effort. Engage fully. One mindful repetition strengthens the neural pathway more than 10 distracted ones. Quality compounds with consistency. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. You have a choice. Focus or drift. Observe or ignore. Repeat with intention. That is the difference between repetition and mastery. That is the system. That is the rule. Rule 7. Adjust and evolve. Daily actions are not static. Review progress weekly. Adjust duration, intensity, or complexity if necessary. Extend practice. Add layers. Maintain simplicity. Avoid overwhelm. Compounding is incremental. Each adjustment builds momentum. Each adjustment strengthens control. You have a choice. Improve or stagnate. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is how results become inevitable. Resistance will appear. Days will be missed. Motivation will wane. Impulses will demand attention. That is expected. You have a choice. Perform anyway. Repeat anyway. Protect the habit. Protect the system. Every repetition reinforces control. Every repetition strengthens discipline. Every repetition compounds into mastery. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is the principle. That is the method. That is the system. Practical application. Identify one small daily action aligned with your highest priority. Commit to 15 minutes. Schedule it. Anchor it. Track it. Execute with full attention. Reflect. Adjust. Continue the next day. Layer additional small actions once the first is consistent. Build iteratively. Build relentlessly. Build until the behavior is automatic. That is the system. That is the rule. That is the path to mastery. Conclusion. Tiny, consistent actions are the bedrock of disciplined focus. Radical change fails because it ignores the system. Motivation fails because it is inconsistent. Repetition wins because it compounds. Small steps, massive impact. Every day counts. You have the foundation of attention, the sharpening tool of silence, the structure of systems, and the defense against distraction. Now, you harness it daily. Chapter 6 will explore deep work, extended periods of focused execution that amplify every small action into measurable results. You have the choice. Commit, repeat, dominate. Chapter 6, the power of deep work. Shallow work dominates most lives. Checking emails, scrolling feeds, responding to messages, attending meetings without purpose. These tasks demand attention but do not build skill. They produce motion, not mastery. Most people mistake activity for progress. That is a mistake. You have a choice. You could drift in shallow tasks, or you can engage in deep work. Depth beats breadth every single time. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Deep work is concentrated, uninterrupted focus on a cognitively demanding task. It produces skill, clarity, and results impossible under distraction. It is not casual. It is deliberate. It is disciplined. Deep work is where mastery is forged. Shallow work creates busyness. Deep work creates excellence. You have a choice. Commit to the deep. Depth beats breadth every single time. Rule 1. Schedule uninterrupted blocks. Deep work requires structure. Time must be protected. Start small. 1 hour, 2 hours. No interruptions. No devices. No distractions. Inform others if necessary. Protect the block as sacred. During this time, your mind is fully engaged. Nothing intrudes. Nothing diverts. Every session strengthens focus. Every session strengthens skill. Depth beats breadth every single time. Repeat it. Every block counts. Every session compounds. That is the system. That is the discipline. Rule 2. Define the work precisely. Deep work requires clarity. Know exactly what you intend to accomplish. One goal per block. Writing a chapter. Coding a function. Analyzing a strategy. Avoid vague intentions. Avoid multitasking. Precision amplifies focus. Precision enforces engagement. Depth beats breadth every single time. You have a choice. Work without clarity or work with purpose. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is the principle. That is the rule. Rule 3. Eliminate all distractions. Distractions are the enemy of depth. Phones off. Notifications silenced. Tabs closed. Emails deferred. Internal impulses observed without reaction. External interruptions controlled. Environmental cues optimized. The mind cannot enter depth while fragmented. Depth requires consistency. Depth requires protection. Depth beats breadth every single time. Repeat it. Protect your attention. Guard your focus. That is the system. That is the method. Consider real-world examples. Writers schedule mornings for uninterrupted writing. Coders block hours for complex algorithms. Chess masters practice tactics in extended sessions. Their focus is deliberate. Their attention is unwavering. Their results are predictable. Shallow effort cannot replicate this. Shallow activity produces no mastery. Depth produces skill, clarity, and power. Depth beats breadth every single time. You have a choice. Commit to shallow or commit to deep. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 4. Anchor deep work to triggers. Deep work is easier when paired with environmental or behavioral anchors. Morning coffee, closing the door, a clean workspace, a specific playlist. Rituals prepare the mind for focus. They reduce decision fatigue. They enforce engagement. You have a choice. Ignore anchors and struggle, or apply anchors and dominate. Depth beats breadth every single time. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is the method. That is the discipline. That is the rule. Rule 5. Protect your energy. Deep work is demanding. Mental energy is finite. Avoid scheduling multiple intense blocks back-to-back without recovery. Sleep, nutrition, and movement matter. Small breaks between blocks preserve focus. Short sessions with high intensity beat long sessions with distractions. You have a choice. Protect energy. Protect focus. Protect mastery. Depth beats breadth every single time. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 6. Track progress and adjust. Record each session. Duration. Task. Quality of focus. Output produced. Reflect daily or weekly. Identify where attention faltered. Adjust triggers. Adjust environment. Adjust timing. The system is iterative. Repetition compounds control. Depth beats breadth every single time. You have a choice. Observe or drift. Track or guess. Adjust and repeat. That is the method. That is the philosophy. That is the practice of mastery. Rule 7. Combine deep work with small daily actions. Deep work alone is not enough. Repetition of small, deliberate actions compounds results. 15 minutes of deliberate practice daily reinforces skill. Multi-hour sessions amplify it. Systems enforce the combination. Shallow work cannot replicate this synergy. Depth beats breadth every single time. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is how mastery compounds. That is how results become inevitable. Expect resistance. Your mind will seek comfort. You will feel restless. Urges to check messages will arise. That is normal. That is expected. You have a choice. Fight or surrender. Commit to the block. Observe impulses without reaction. Return attention to the task. Each time you resist, focus strengthens. Each time you resist, skill compounds. Depth beats breadth every single time. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is the standard. That is the code. That is the rule. Practical application. Schedule a deep work block daily. Start with 1 hour. Define the task. Prepare the environment. Silence distractions. Apply an anchor. Execute fully. Track adherence. Reflect afterward. Adjust triggers or timing if necessary. Extend sessions incrementally. Layer with small daily actions. Protect focus rigorously. Repeat consistently. Depth beats breadth every single time. Conclusion. Multi-hour deep focus sessions are not optional. They are required for mastery. Shallow work produces motion. Deep work produces results. Systems enforce it. Silence sharpens it. Attention sustains it. Small actions compound it. Now you have the tools to execute consistently, deliberately, and with power. Chapter 7 will show how to train your mind like a muscle, strengthening mental resilience and focus beyond daily tasks. You have the choice. Commit. Focus. Repeat. Dominate. Chapter 7. Train your mind like a muscle. Discipline is not given. It is earned. Focus is not permanent. It is trained. The mind, like a muscle, strengthens under stress. It grows under challenge. It adapts under consistent, controlled strain. Most people ignore this. They expect mental clarity without effort. They expect discipline without stress. That is a mistake. You have a choice. Train or stagnate. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 1. Understand mental fatigue. The mind tires just like the body. Prolonged effort without challenge leads to depletion. Unstructured work does not build strength. Deliberate, demanding exercises build capacity. Focus must be stressed. Attention must be challenged. Thought must be controlled. Every session of mental training strengthens the neural pathways of discipline. You have a choice. Allow fatigue to weaken you or train through it. Pain in practice, power in performance. That is the key. Rule 2. Perform mental push-ups. Small, controlled exercises create resilience. Concentration drills, memory exercises, intentional discomfort. Sit in silence for longer than usual. Focus on a single thought until distractions surface and are resisted. Read complex material and summarize it immediately. Repeat challenging mental tasks daily. These are mental push-ups. Each repetition builds focus. Each session strengthens control. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Rule 3. Apply progressive resistance. Muscles grow by increasing load. The same principle applies to the mind. Increase difficulty gradually. Longer focus blocks. Harder tasks. Complex problems. Resist urges to check your phone. Resist impulses. Extend mental endurance. Small increments compound. Progress is consistent. Stagnation occurs without progression. You have a choice. Apply resistance or remain weak. Pain in practice, power in performance. That is the principle. Rule 4. Condition attention through repetition. Focus is like lifting. You do not achieve mastery with one repetition. You repeat. You repeat until control is automatic. You repeat until distractions are resisted without effort. Daily repetition compounds into neural strength. Mental endurance is built. Clarity becomes automatic. Small actions compound into skill. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it. Every session counts. Every repetition compounds. That is the system. That is the rule. Rule 5. Embrace intentional discomfort. The mind resists difficulty. Comfort is natural. Growth is not. Sit in silence longer than you want. Read material that challenges your assumptions. Solve problems without shortcuts. Focus when fatigued. Mental discomfort produces adaptation. Mental stress produces capacity. You have a choice. Avoid discomfort and stagnate. Embrace discomfort and grow. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is the standard. Consider real-world examples. A chess master practices tactics under time pressure. A writer completes daily exercises even when tired. A software engineer performs complex coding drills beyond immediate need. These are not optional. These are disciplined exercises. These are mental push-ups. Each session builds neural resilience. Each repetition compounds attention. Each challenge strengthens execution. Pain in practice, power in performance. That is the method. That is the rule. That is the discipline. Rule 6. Protect recovery. Muscles break down to grow. The mind requires rest to consolidate gains. Sleep, short breaks, meditation, light exercise. Recovery reinforces mental adaptation. Without recovery, stress becomes fatigue. Fatigue becomes distraction. Fatigue becomes failure. You have a choice. Balance training with recovery. Structure rest as part of the system. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 7. Combine strength training with systems. Mental exercises alone are insufficient. They must be anchored in routines and systems. Morning focus blocks. Silent observation sessions. Micro habits of attention. Mental push-ups within structured periods. Systems enforce repetition. Systems compound gains. Systems protect against weakness. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is how discipline is built. That is how mastery is forged. Resistance is inevitable. Your mind will seek comfort. You will want to stop. You will want to check notifications. You will want to drift. That is expected. That is natural. That is why training is required. You have a choice. Resist, persist, repeat. Every time you push through, focus strengthens. Every time you push through, discipline deepens. Every time you push through, power becomes available when it matters most. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Practical application. Identify one challenging mental exercise. Sit in silence for 20 minutes. Perform a concentration drill. Complete a memory exercise. Schedule it daily. Track adherence. Extend difficulty incrementally. Integrate it with your systems and habits. Observe progress. Adjust as needed. Layer these exercises alongside focus blocks, small actions, and deep work. Compound results. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Conclusion. Mental strength is not given. Discipline is not optional. Focus is not permanent. Like a muscle, the mind grows only under stress, repetition, and structure challenge. You now have the tools: attention, silence, systems, small daily actions, deep work, and mental exercises. Each layer compounds into control, clarity, and mastery. Chapter 8 will explore the cost of weak focus, highlighting how undisciplined attention erodes results, and why consistent mental training is non-negotiable. You have the choice: train or surrender, persist or weaken. Pain in practice, power in performance. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Chapter 8, the cost of weak focus. Every moment you surrender your attention has a cost. Every distraction, every procrastination, every scattered thought. The cost is invisible at first. Subtle, silent. It accumulates. Over time, these unfocused moments compound into lost opportunities, diminished skill, and stalled progress. You have a choice: pay attention or pay the price. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Most people ignore the debt. They believe the small lapses do not matter. Checking a phone, chatting unnecessarily, skipping a task, delaying a decision. Each instance steals attention and energy. Each instance compounds. Over months, even years, the result is significant. Projects fail. Promotions are lost. Potential remains unrealized. Wealth, skill, and influence erode quietly. You have a choice: control your attention or suffer the consequences. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Rule 1. Recognize the debt. Early awareness precedes action. Track where your attention drifts. Identify tasks left incomplete. Identify opportunities ignored. Recognize moments when distraction wins. Each one is a small debt. Record it. Reflect on it. Do not excuse it. Awareness transforms debt into actionable insight. You have a choice: recognize or ignore. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Rule 2. Understand the compounding effect. Distractions are not isolated. Time lost today multiplies tomorrow. Skills that could have been honed remain stagnant. Decisions that could have been decisive are delayed. Opportunities that could have been seized vanish. The mind grows weak when unchallenged. Focus deteriorates. Attention scatters. The debt compounds silently. You have a choice: act or drift. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. That is the key. Consider the professional who procrastinates. A report delayed by 30 minutes. An email unanswered. A project shelved. It seems minor, but weeks later, deadlines are missed. Opportunities are lost. Credibility erodes. Career growth stalls. The cost is measurable. Each lapse compounds. Each distraction diminishes potential. You have a choice: control your time. Protect your focus. Repeat it. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Rule 3. Enforce systems to mitigate debt. Debt arises when focus is left unprotected. Systems prevent lapses. Scheduled blocks, anchored routines, batches of tasks, clear environmental boundaries. These enforce attention automatically. They remove reliance on fleeting willpower. They convert potential debt into compounded gain. You have a choice. Implement systems or remain vulnerable. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 4. Use reflection to repay lost focus. Even disciplined minds incur lapses. The key is to repay quickly. Reflect at day's end. Identify moments of weak attention. Correct the system. Adjust triggers. Reinforce routines. Restore focus. Compensate for lost time. The debt is reduced when acknowledged and acted upon immediately. You have a choice. Reflect or let lapses compound. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 5. Recognize opportunity cost. The hidden cost of weak focus is more than lost minutes. It is lost potential. It is unlearned skills. It is deferred progress. Promotions, achievements, mastery, relationships, they all require sustained attention. Each lapse diminishes what you could have achieved. Each choice to drift creates invisible debt. You have a choice. Protect attention. Maximize output. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. That is the principle. Consider a high-level example. A software developer distracted daily by notifications. 15 minutes lost each day. Over a year, that accumulates to dozens of hours. Enough to learn advanced skills, complete critical projects, or gain strategic insight. That time is gone forever. The debt was avoidable. Systems and focus could have preserved it. You have a choice. Discipline or decay. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 6. Convert awareness into action. Debt is not inevitable. Awareness alone is not enough. Awareness must generate action. Adjust routines. Remove triggers. Reinforce systems. Extend focus blocks. Prioritize deep work. Protect your attention daily. Repetition converts awareness into control. You have a choice. Awareness plus action prevents decay. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. That is the standard. That is the system. That is the rule. Resistance will appear. Comfort is easy. Distraction is tempting. Laziness is subtle. That is expected. That is normal. That is why deliberate systems are required. You have a choice. Fight or surrender. Protect focus or pay the debt. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. That is the principle. That is the method. That is the standard. Practical application. At the end of each day, review lapses in focus. Note triggers. Adjust routines. Strengthen systems. Schedule focus blocks for tomorrow. Protect attention like currency. Small debts repaid prevent large losses. Repetition compounds discipline. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Conclusion: weak focus is costly. It erodes time, skill, opportunity, and potential. Debt accumulates silently. Recognition, action, and systemized attention prevent loss. You now understand the stakes. You have the foundation of attention, silence, systems, small actions, deep work, and mental resilience. The next chapter, Chapter 9, will show how to cultivate unshakable consistency, converting all previous principles into a daily practice that guarantees growth and mastery. You have the choice. Protect your attention. Repay debt. Repeat relentlessly. Every unfocused moment is a debt you pay later. Chapter 9. Environment shapes the warrior. Your mind does not exist in isolation. Your surroundings dictate focus, discipline, and clarity. Chaos in the environment creates chaos in thought. Order in the environment creates order in action. Most people underestimate this. They surrender attention to clutter, noise, and distraction. That is a mistake. You have a choice. Control your environment, control your mind, control your destiny. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Rule 1. Recognize environmental influence. Everything around you affects mental performance. Visual clutter divides attention. Noise interrupts thought. Digital chaos hijacks focus. Even subtle distractions erode discipline. The environment shapes behavior, whether you realize it or not. You have a choice. Shape the environment or be shaped by it. Control your environment, control your mind, control your destiny. That is the key. Rule 2. Declutter physical spaces. Clutter is a signal of chaos. Desks pile with items. Unorganized rooms. Tools scattered. Each item competes for attention. Remove what is unnecessary. Keep what is essential. Create clean surfaces. Allow the mind to move freely. A decluttered space is a decluttered mind. You have a choice. Clear or crowded. Clean or chaotic. Control your environment. Control your mind. Control your destiny. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 3. Design for focus. Environmental design enforces discipline. Place items to support action. Keep tools for work at hand. Remove distractions from immediate reach. Arrange lighting, seating, and equipment for efficiency. Visual cues should signal action, not distraction. The environment becomes a silent system enforcing focus. You have a choice. Design it or let it control you. Control your environment, control your mind, control your destiny. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Rule 4. Limit exposure to noise. Auditory input shapes attention. Constant chatter, music, notifications, or background noise reduces capacity for sustained focus. Protect auditory channels. Use silence strategically. Use noise-canceling tools if necessary. Silence supports attention. Noise undermines it. You have a choice. Filter or surrender. Control your environment. Control your mind. Control your destiny. That is the system. That is the discipline. That is the rule. Rule 5. Control digital spaces. Technology is a double-edged sword. Social media, emails, and alerts demand constant response. Digital clutter fractures attention. Organize apps. Batch notifications. Silence interruptions. Schedule email or message checks. Automate what you can. Reduce the friction between your mind and focus. Systems support clarity. Digital control enforces discipline. You have a choice. Protect or surrender. Control your environment. Control your mind. Control your destiny. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 6. Establish environmental anchors. Physical and digital cues reinforce focus. A tidy desk signals work. A dedicated workspace signals deep work. Specific devices, applications, or tools anchor attention. Rituals enhance these anchors. Morning coffee, opening a specific notebook, or putting on headphones become triggers for focused action. Each anchor reduces the cognitive load of decision-making. You have a choice. Establish or ignore. Control your environment, control your mind, control your destiny. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Consider real-world examples. High-performing individuals meticulously shape their environments. Writers remove distractions before writing. CEOs organize offices to minimize interruptions. Programmers configure setups for uninterrupted coding. Athletes maintain training spaces that enforce discipline. Each environment becomes a system. Each system compounds focus. Each decision is simplified. Control your environment, control your mind, control your destiny. That is the method. That is the practice. That is the principle. Rule 7. Protect your environment. Even controlled spaces are vulnerable. Friends, colleagues, or family can introduce chaos. External conditions shift. Noise creeps back in. Systems erode without vigilance. Guard the space you control. Enforce boundaries. Remove interruptions. Protect clarity. The environment is your silent ally. Neglect it and risk scattered thought. You have a choice. Defend or drift. Control your environment. Control your mind. Control your destiny. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 8. Align environment with goals. Your environment must support your highest priorities. If learning is the goal, books, notes, and focus blocks dominate the space. If creation is the goal, tools for production are accessible. If health is the goal, exercise equipment is visible, distractions minimized. The environment becomes a constant reminder and enforcer of action. Alignment reduces friction. Alignment strengthens focus. You have a choice. Align or ignore. Control your environment. Control your mind. Control your destiny. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Practical application. Review your workspace. Remove items that do not support action. Arrange tools to reduce effort. Silence notifications. Establish a dedicated focus area. Implement triggers to signal attention. Guard the space daily. Layer these environmental controls with habits, systems, and deep work. Each adjustment compounds attention. Each repetition strengthens discipline. Control your environment. Control your mind. Control your destiny. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Conclusion. Your surroundings are either allies or enemies. Disorder, clutter, and noise erode focus. Order, design, and silence enforce it. Environmental control is not optional. It is foundational. You now understand that attention, silence, systems, daily actions, deep work, mental training, and the cost of weak focus must be reinforced by environment. Chapter 10 will integrate all these principles, showing how to execute a life of consistent mastery. You have the choice. Shape your environment. Protect your focus. Command your destiny. Control your environment. Control your mind. Control your destiny. Chapter 10. Commit to the daily battle. Discipline is not a trait. Discipline is not a moment. Discipline is forged. It is forged through repeated, deliberate, intentional choices, not through occasional bursts of effort, not through inspiration or motivation. The person who achieves mastery does so by committing day after day, hour after hour. You have a choice. Commit or drift. Warriors are not born. They're made day by day, moment by moment. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 1. Treat every day as a battle. Each day presents the same challenge. Attention versus distraction, clarity versus chaos, action versus procrastination. You cannot win once and rest. You cannot rely on willpower alone. You must show up. Every day, every task, every focus block. Treat the day as a battlefield. Protect your attention like your life depends on it. Because it does. Warriors are not born. They're made day by day, moment by moment. Rule 2. Integrate all previous lessons. Your attention must be controlled. Silence must be practiced. Systems must enforce behavior. Small actions must compound. Deep work must be protected. The mind must be trained like a muscle. Weak focus must be avoided. The environment must be aligned to support mastery. Each principle is a weapon. Each habit is armor. You have a choice. Apply them all or surrender to mediocrity. Warriors are not born. They're made day by day, moment by moment. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 3. Create a 30-day battle plan. Structure wins. Willpower fails. Plan every day for the next 30 days. Schedule focus blocks. Schedule silence sessions. Define critical daily actions. Protect your environment. Anchor micro habits. Batch tasks. Automate decisions where possible. Record adherence. Reflect and adjust nightly. Each day, executed compounds into skill, clarity, and control. You have a choice. Plan or drift. Warriors are not born. They are made day by day, moment by moment. Rule 4. Execute with absolute consistency. A plan is useless without execution. Follow it without negotiation. Do not allow excuses. Do not wait for permission. Do not defer. Perform daily actions. Enter deep work blocks. Complete micro habits. Sit in silence. Repeat exercises. Protect your environment. Track progress. Adjust incrementally. Every action enforces discipline. Every repetition compounds strength. Warriors are not born. They're made day by day, moment by moment. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 5. Measure and adjust relentlessly. Daily execution without evaluation is blind. At the end of each day, assess performance. Did you protect focus? Did you complete the silent session? Did you follow the systems? Did small actions compound? Identify lapses. Adjust routines. Refine triggers. Incremental improvements compound into mastery. You have a choice. Observe or drift. Warriors are not born. They are made day by day, moment by moment. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Rule 6. Embrace the discomfort of discipline. Discipline is not comfortable. It will challenge you. Resistance will appear. Thoughts will wander. Impulses will tempt. Motivation will fade. That is expected. That is the point. Pain in practice creates power in performance. Focus under discomfort strengthens the mind. Repetition under stress builds resilience. Daily choices are your training ground. You have a choice. Endure or surrender. Warriors are not born. They are made day by day, moment by moment. Rule 7. Build identity through action. Your identity is forged by repeated choices. Who you are is what you repeatedly do. Show up to focus. Show up to silence. Show up to systemized action. Each choice reinforces the self-image of a disciplined warrior. Do not wait to feel disciplined. Do not wait to feel motivated. Act first. Identity follows action. You have a choice. Act deliberately. Warriors are not born. They're made day by day, moment by moment. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Consider real-world examples. Elite athletes train daily, regardless of desire. CEOs execute morning routines, regardless of energy. Artists practice technique, even when uninspired. Consistency compounds. Systems enforce results. Discipline grows stronger with every executed day. You have a choice. Consistency or chaos. Warriors are not born. They are made day by day, moment by moment. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Practical application. The 30-day battle plan. Attention. Schedule 2 deep focus blocks daily. No interruptions. Protect them. Silence. Practice 20 to 30 minutes of intentional silence. Observe thoughts. Strengthen clarity. Systems. Follow routines that enforce micro-habits. Automate decision-making. Reduce friction. Small actions. Execute deliberate daily tasks that compound over time. 15 minutes matters. Environment. Declutter. Design for focus and protect the space you control. Reflection. Track adherence each night. Adjust routines. Correct lapses immediately. Resilience. Push through discomfort. Strengthen attention like a muscle. Repeat daily. Execute this plan consistently for 30 days. Do not negotiate. Do not rationalize. Each day, compound skill, focus, and discipline. You have a choice. Execute or drift. Warriors are not born. They're made day by day, moment by moment. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Conclusion. Mastery is daily. Focus is daily. Discipline is daily. Systems, silence, small actions, deep work, mental training, environmental control, they all converge into repeated execution. Your life is the sum of daily choices. The warrior is forged in the mundane, not the heroic. You have the tools. You have the plan. You have the choice. Execute daily. Protect your attention. Strengthen your mind. Dominate your actions. Warriors are not born. They're made day by day, moment by moment. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. If you found this guide valuable, subscribe to the channel now to continue receiving full-length audiobook training on focus, discipline, and mastery. Your next session is only a day away. Execute relentlessly.